order at 6:03. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes from our last meeting, which was October, was it 10th or something like that?
Yes.
Whatever it was. Anybody? Yes? And we emailed them out. Any corrections or changes to those minutes?
No.
If not, then I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Move to accept the
Okay.
minutes as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is just to have Barbara come in as the accountant and kind of give us an overview of where we stand so far for the projected fiscal 19 budget. So she's here and she's brought some figures in for us to take a look at, and she'll kind of go through them line by line and explain first projections, whatever.
Well, it is
So
a
I'll
guess.
just turn the meeting over to Barbara and she can
It
explain
is-
as we go along.
It is a guess at this point, and what you've got in front of you is basically a forecast of how the funding will go, so that you'll know when you get down at town meeting, like the bottom line, that how much you could possibly spend. And I've been doing this with the FinCom for years to give them an idea, rather than when you look at a recap sheet, which is the actual form that comes from the state to set the tax rate, all you have on there is the levy and nothing else. You know, all the other figures are buried inside of it, but this is just kind of a format to put where the figures come from. I can explain to you where they go. Some of them, to be very honest with you, are guesses, and most of them, you know, some are cast in stone, some are guesses. So the top half of this is your levy base, and that's based on the top three figures in the prior year, in the actual of 18, the 8 million, the 222, and the 70,000. 70,000 at this point is still a guess. The actual new growth for fiscal 18 has not been done as yet. It's done coming in again. Then we can adjust it. We can adjust it. But also keep in mind that we are not at the levy limit.
Right.
Even with this amount to go, last year, even with all this, we were 400 and some odd thousand
Right.
under the levy limit,
Right.
so.
Right.
The levy limit goes up no matter what.
It goes
Right.
up
Every year.
to 2.5% in the new growth. That's why they're segregated on the top of
Yep.
this. That's why when I did this worksheet many, many years ago as a tool to use in
Yep.
another community. And we didn't have anything when I came back here, and, you know, I want to be able to put it on paper and try to explain to the boards where some of the funds came from, so everybody was on the same page.
So theoretically, we could raise more money if we chose to or needed to.
Yes, but
We wouldn't have many people happy with us. But
no, we would not.
We
No.
could do.
Not if we started raising taxes radically.
That's the whole
Yeah.
thing of it.
Yeah,
And I think that's part of the reason why I jumped the overlay, because if we have to put that on either 19, we could have to put it on 19s if it happened really quickly. Or we could stuck on 18s, I suppose, if it comes in the next
I think
week or two, but it could.
too that it's good to understand where we've come from the last couple of years, that we have tried to keep the tax rate close to 2.5%, slightly under, but close, because every time you get by a year under, by using stabilization, lower than the 2.5%,
Right.
that's more money under the levy you are. And we may be fiscally saying we don't want to raise taxes, but you never know who's going to be in here as another finance committee. And I'd rather see the taxes, I think everybody would, even though you don't think you would, go up 2 to 2.5% a year, than be at 1.5% this year and 5% next year.
Oh, I agree.
So
I think everybody in this room
yeah,
feels.
that's, I don't think
And I
that,
think all the committee, you know, the Board of Selectmen
Right.
and the others, you know, there are still some people in town that'll come in when they're paying their tax bill and say, but I thought Cisco was gonna prevent us from ever having to go up. That's not even a normal reality when you
No,
think
it's-
about it. I mean, 'cause, you know, granted, they do give us money, but we've had some huge increases in budgetary items. Remember the first year they came in and we got a needed but huge increase in one of the school lines.
Yeah.
And we had, if we had not have had that money from Cisco to be able to offset it, we would have been closing some departments down more so. We were talking $500,000.
Well, we've been able to respond to staffing needs for the fire department too,
Yeah.
and they've had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
We've
You've
gone.
increased hours for some of the town hall departments
Right.
that needed it. Yeah.
Right, and so it has enabled us to do a lot more
Yeah.
things we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Yeah, we now have a town administrator's position, and
Yep.
we've done a lot of things.
Has that person reported for work yet?
No,
You know?
November
2 weeks.
27th.
Yeah,
November
something like
27th.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. That's
After
what-
Thanksgiving, oh,
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
the fatted calf.
well, I mean, she has a current job, she has to do what she has to do.
Who
Oh,
was hired?
Elizabeth
Dennehy.
Denny.
Denny.
Thank you.
And where's she coming from?
She works out of Walpole right now, but she's a resident of Raynham. Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So,
That is correct.
I passed through
She's
Rainham,
very energetic.
Yeah.
going to Seekonk.
Young?
You'll like her.
yes, yes, she has.
Everybody's younger than me, so.
Hey, wait a
What are you
second,
laughing at?
you're
That
younger
end of
than
the
me.
table.
You know, as I sat down here with the mature group,
Yeah, you and I. Yeah, she mentioned through the process that she has one child in kindergarten and another in elementary, so she is a young woman. So,
She's a realtor out of Plymouth too, so she knows the area.
Great.
she doesn't do much of that though, from what we hear. So,
So, okay, any other questions for Barbara about what we've got here for projected? And again, we will revisit this pretty much every meeting from now on out, you know, as changes come in, you know, she'll let us know.
Yeah, and I mean, if it gets so it's really different, I'll gladly come back in again and go over it. Okay, now the other thing I brought you. I don't usually bring this in, but I thought where a couple of you were still new at this, it might help. This is a list of the departmental general fund appropriations. It's not broken down line by line as succinctly as the budget itself is, but like everything that's my department, the town accountant's department, will say town accountant, which is 01135. That's salary, the administrative salary, and my expenditures. They're lumped together. But this gives you an idea, and this has all the articles that I've carried over and everything. This is everything that's in the 01 category on my budget process. And this gives you an idea. This is through yesterday. Everything that's been expended up to date and the balances that are left. It's hard to judge looking at it.
I was gonna say, do you sort of create this to give this to us, or are you just copying this out of an already spreadsheet that,
Just
She printed
hitting it out of the
there's no way
computer.
to add one column with percent?
No. No, there isn't on this, because this comes out of the computer thing. I'd have to take it and move it and then just,
Mm-hmm.
Can you export it in
probably.
a file?
Yeah,
You can
I
just
probably
send it to
can.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
send
can
it to
export
us.
it, and I can put a formula in there as easily, but I
Yeah,
just
if you-
haven't.
if you-
That
I
would
haven't
make it a
tried
lot
it.
easier to
Okay.
comprehend what it's saying if you saw the
Okay.
percent remaining.
Percentage,
Yeah.
percent of, yeah.
But,
percent
but
units
sometimes
you
that,
Yeah.
but sometimes that's irrelevant.
Right, because some things are paid all up
Well,
front.
not only that, but when you think of a municipal fiscal year, the number of paychecks in the month of July alone are different than, I should say, the amount that's credited to here for pay in the month of July is not the normal 4 weeks. So it goes off because
Because it's every 2 weeks.
no, because in the municipal system, you physically pay them through June 30th. Now, that paycheck may be drawn July 7th, but it's charged back to June 30th. It doesn't appear on here. It's charged to last year's. So it's not a true
Yeah, but-
4 months. It's close. And
Yeah.
of course, the school department for the summer only has a $10,000 payroll, not a 70.
Right.
So, I mean, there are some departments that are
Right, but
really,
it's-
really
it
hard
gives
to
you a
tell. But yeah, I'll see if I can
feel.
talk to Danny and export it and put a percentage. Then I can put the formula into for percentage. I have no problem doing that.
Okay,
Nate.
yeah.
That, Excel I'm fine with. It's just, in his system, he hasn't done it, so. I mean, I have another sheet that has it, but I don't know if that has a percentage on it. I'll look. If that has, I'll copy that one next time.
Yeah, that would be great if
You
we
know,
could get
that's
this like
fine.
every quarter or so.
Yeah,
Just have an idea.
Well, I think like quarter now and then again December, but I think maybe then we'd go every 2 months, or, you know, whatever.
I just
So
don't want to
you're
make too
more-
much for you. As
Oh,
much
it's
as you
not,
can
it's
give it
not.
to us is
No,
good.
you know, if I can get it done on one or two sheets and get used to just flipping it and changing it every time, it's not a problem,
Okay.
So I have no problem doing that. But you can see, I mean, like with my own department, I had 45 to start and I have 32 now, so, you know, I'm doing fine.
And we're approximately a third of the way through.
Right.
Yeah, yep. So, police is doing fine, fire, no, he's not, but that's okay. He's over again, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably bringing in,
He's bringing in more people
More than
and
me.
whatnot, yeah. And the schools, you know, I don't see anything that's in any difficulty or whatnot, it's too early. I haven't heard of anything. The only one that's come over and, that's come to me and talked to me occasionally is like the Council on Aging. She was a little concerned the other day because the normal driver took his vacation, which he's entitled to, and she needed somebody else to come in. So she came in, she properly paid them at the lowest range in the thing and whatnot. And I said, don't worry about it, where it's one line now. If we get to that point, then we'll let the FinCom know in advance, and we'll let them know how much they're gonna be short, because he's usually pretty good and he doesn't take much time. So, but other than that, I don't see any major things. I don't see any huge articles having problems or whatnot at this time. Nobody's brought anything up. So, I mean, you can go over it. I mean, with the system the way it is, I can print any line out or any individual budget so you can see it in categories if you'd like. Just let me know. Just email me. Here it's the same as every tail end of town.plimpton.mass.us, whatever it is, something like that. Plympton.town.mass, I think it is, but, you know, everybody in the town hall has one with their position attached to it, and if not, call me and I'll gladly give you my home email if you wanted to. So,
That's what I use.
well, now I get things in two places. I get them at home and I get them in the office.
I had that problem too when I was working.
Yeah. So,
Not anymore.
check the email,
so,
Finance Committee.
yeah. Because that way, where I only work the 3 days, I can get it the rest of the week too. If somebody really needs something, I have no problem responding. So,
Anything else we need to know?
no, but everything seems to be fine. And like we said, she's gonna start November 27th. They have not finished the contractors yet that I know of, but they're working on it. So, I think they've settled salary, but they haven't. They're just doing the other stuff that goes with it. So, but I haven't seen it yet, so. And every other department seems to be okay, internally anyway. Any questions? Catherine's being so quiet and so studious, just
Reading.
looking at it and saying, uh-oh.
When we get into actually doing
Mhm.
the budget,
Mhm.
do we go line by line and understand what makes up each of those amounts? Like
We-
how detailed do we get?
We ask each department for a projection for budget request for next year, and then we ask them to break it down. Some of them just go, this is my department, this is what I expect, and they give us a single line.
Sure.
Others will break it down, and it's usually the larger departments, fortunately, will break it down more specifically, and they'll go down into office supplies X,
Okay.
maintenance X. So the police and the fire and the larger departments will do it that way to make it easier on us.
They should all be doing that. Like,
And then, yes, but
I do,
a
even
lot
with
of them
my
are-
little old budget, I do it, I break it down.
and then
put this-
last year, what we did for the first time was we broke out salaries as a separate line to make it easier on ourselves. We tried to consolidate the maintenance lines and things like that to sort of make it a little easier to track year to year. So this will be the first year we'll have a little bit better data to work with. And then, you know,
And
maybe each year, if we make it a little
yeah.
bit easier, it'll be.
And in my system, like in my own department, I have a salary wage line. I have a wage line for my administrative assistant who only works a few hours a week. Then I have an expense line. And then within the expense line, and it's true within every department except the school, they can have office supplies, they can have phone, they can have meetings and mileage, they have all kinds
But
of
all
breakdown,
comes out
and
of
those are on the same computer. This is just the summary.
Okay.
And I can print the individual ones out all the way through if you want to see how
And
they're
those,
done.
Barbara, where they're on one line and they're not broken out, if they go over on mileage and under on office supplies.
That doesn't
it's all
matter, their
exchanged.
expense line, the town meeting votes them, like mine is about well, it's more because the computer is in there now, like 2,500, well, 20, or 2,700, 25 of it is computer. But the other things, if I go for office supplies or what, if I have to go to a couple of meetings or if I need mileage to run to different things, they're broken out. And the department heads have access, the departments have access to that every single day I'm here, or that Christine is here, my assistant. And they can come in any day they want, and they can see how they were broken down. And not only do I have that, but my system goes back to 2000. They can go back in 2000 and say, okay, you had $5,000 this, back then you have 20,000 here, how did you spend it? And see if it's proportional if they want. You know, a lot of them don't care what's in the old stuff, they just want to know what their current budget is and if they've expended it. But the system gives us some decent information from it.
So typically, when we send out the requests to the departments, we'll ask them for a level service so that we can compare apples to apples to which we did last year. And then if they have a separate request or anything over and above that they want to add, or any sort of an unusual expense that they have for next year that they don't have listed in their current budget, they list that separately as a separate request. And then also if they have a capital request, that has to go in a separate line as well. So try to give us, you know, a decent idea of forecasting.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year is gonna stay the same as far as everything I've heard, as far as the budget, and maybe the following year, you might get some help.
As far as
from-
capital, you mean, or?
No, from the regular budget process, from the administrator.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
okay, yes. Right, well, where she's
Yeah,
just
this
getting
year
her
it-
feet wet, yeah,
Yeah,
she'll
and
probably
she
just.
doesn't have.
She may sit in to
Yeah,
listen
She
to
may.
how it
I
is.
hope
She
she
may.
does. but-
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be good for her to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
to go through some of it. I think
Right,
it'd be
I don't
very
expect,
good.
I don't expect a ton of help from her this year.
Yeah, no.
Right,
So,
unfortunately.
but yeah, and Nate knows, you all know that I'll be in here whenever you need me. To be very honest, I don't want to be here every night. I don't think it's fair to the department heads. I think they should present their own budget to the committee and go forward from there. And then I just deal with it after the fact. Because unfortunately, the department, I can have a little more control over it afterwards. But it's not fair. It's not fair to me to have to listen to every department making their presentation.
No,
Not
we
for
don't-
me,
we
but
don't.
for them.
We don't expect you
No,
to
I,
be here
no,
anyway.
but I'll come in anytime,
Yeah.
you know, that you need it for follow-through or, you know, updates, that's not a problem. And I tend to come in more after everybody's presented everything and help you put it together that way.
Right, exactly.
And the Collins stuff has the projections out a few more years, but I didn't put any more years on that. I figured you got 8
No.
years of history and the current one for
They
the
just
up and
sent it out
down.
this week, right? Did I get something from them?
I got a bill, but I might have,
Bill?
yeah, I got a bill. But
I thought I got an
Okay.
email from them that I haven't seen yet.
there may be one, because I wasn't in today. I take one day off, and today was the day I did it this week,
Okay.
so,
Very good.
so,
Thank you, Barbara.
you okay?
I'm good.
All right, good. Hey,
If she's good, we're all good.
Steve's been around the budget a long time. I'm not sure
I've
he's
been-
happy with it, but he's been
I've
around.
been, I've been to a few town meetings in my day. Many.
So, but doing them and getting them ready and just going to the town meeting are two different things. You'll find that out the hard way.
You will, it's different sitting on the other side of the table.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
At least we have better snacks up front. Usually.
What, at the table, yeah, you do.
Table, we have better
Yeah, you
snacks.
get your cookies.
Do we need to pack heat?
No, you get cookies usually.
Cookies, oh, nice. You don't even have to walk to the back to get them?
No, you
They're-
get homemade.
There is a presentation coming up, and I apologize, I don't have it with me, but I did get an email, and I'll send it out to you guys. It's like a Finance 101. I don't know if you know the details on it. The
I
state was putting it out, and we get emails from them, and it talks about the different seminars. This is the one I went to last year, but this sounded more like a, like I said, a Finance 101 for finance committee members, new folks to the committee. So I will, I don't remember the details, I apologize, I'm not feeling that great, so I didn't really think to bring it tonight, but I'll send it out to you guys if anybody's interested. Typically in the past, we have allowed anyone on the committee that was interested to go to those types of things as an informational
good.
thing. We pick up the tab for the registration fee. It's usually like $50. You'd have to pay for it up front and then get reimbursed. But so if any of you are interested in doing that, it works into your schedules.
Well, if you have,
Certainly
if
you're
you have
welcome to do
the
that.
information beforehand, enough in advance, you can always submit them beforehand and we'll pay them directly.
True.
It depends on the timing issue.
Yeah.
But the person could also be reimbursed for mileage and whatnot too, if there was a cost too,
Right.
so, through the town's, through your budget.
I don't have anything else to discuss this evening, other than I think we need to, I think it would be helpful to maybe have another meeting later this month if we can, and then sort of put our schedule together going forward, because we're obviously getting into the holiday season. It's going to be difficult to have meetings. We'll probably have one, I was thinking maybe the Monday, the third Monday or so, the 20th? Is it the 20th?
Yeah, that's the third Monday.
Does that work for everyone, or?
That's Thanksgiving week.
It's Thanksgiving week, yeah, I know. So I don't know if everyone's around or not.
Do you need me?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not going anywhere. So Thursday.
So set it for then, so you,
Yeah,
You said that's the 20th?
20th.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Next meeting will be the 20th at 6 o'clock. Maybe 5:45.
yeah, let's do 5:45.
5:45?
Is that, Catherine, does that work okay for you? Yeah, let's do 5:45.
Okay.
Allow us to be there on time.
And by then we'll have a rough draft, maybe of the letter that we'll send out to the departments. We typically send that out right after Christmas. So we go through a rough draft and you guys put feedback on what you want to say and that sort of thing. And then we send that out. And
Oops.
I'll try to have all this stuff put on the spreadsheet.
And if anything changes, I'll make new ones and make sure you have them for that. If you don't see one from me, you'll know nothing's. The new growth may be on there for this year, and then we can better judge next year's, but that would be the only thing that I feel at this point would probably change. The actual new growth for 18, because I just hope it gets done and settled this week.
So what's going to happen when the assessor leaves? mean,
I
obviously
have
they
no
to
idea.
Hire somebody, but we don't,
Yeah, I have
that
no
may take
idea.
a while, right?
It could,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Lost them both. Lost Wendy and,
Well,
Really?
Wendy's been gone a while,
yeah, well, yeah,
so
and Debbie.
Have they advertised for it already?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's say when I checked Tuesday, it wasn't on the town website, so I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Alrighty then, if there's nothing else for new business, then I'll entertain a motion, we can go home.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
I can't vote, but
Adjourned.